Okay, so I just watched a movie called The Mangler. So The Mangler is I would guess, semi-notorious bad movie. It might not be like one of the A-listers that people think of, but I've definitely heard of it before. This is based on a Stephen King short story, and what if you've heard of this movie? You've probably heard of it because of the really ridiculous premise of a demonically possessed industrial laundry folding machine. Yeah, they try to make it work. It really is. At least to me, it seems like people realized on set that they couldn't take this super seriously. Like, one of the main characters is played by Robert Englund, who most would know as playing Freddy in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And he just plays the old sort of owner of the laundry facility where this evil machine is, and he has a pact with the devil machine, something. Anyway, he hams it up throughout the movie and actually makes it almost watchable. His character's stuck in these like leg braces, and he just sort of hobbles around, just saying really mean things and just hamming it up the whole time. He's pretty great, but he isn't the lead character. He's really just in the periphery of most of the movie, which is kind of a shame. Um, Apart from him, he has, I think, a daughter and then a niece that are on the floor of the factory who both encounter the evil machine at one point or another. The main character really is played by Ted Levine, who's the cop assigned to the initial case of the mangling, I guess, of the first person who is absorbed into the machine and such. Um, and if you don't know Ted Levine, you might not recognize the name. He played Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and it's just impossible. He has such a distinctive voice to like separate that from anything else he's ever been in, and really, his voice doesn't fit like what you expect here, I guess. I mean, he's supposed to play sort of a gruff, jaded cop, who's supposed to react to all the ridiculous things happening. I mean, the guy manages to accidentally exercise an icebox with a sledgehammer at one point, and wow. Um, he is sort of very skeptical at first, which, well, yeah, I mean, he encounters possessed iceboxes and laundry machines. But he's sort of swayed by his, I guess, brother-in-law is how they established this. His wife's wife, I guess, who is dead. I didn't exactly catch that bit. Anyway, his brother-in-law is like this sort of mysticky guy who has information on all this sort of possession, whatnot, and figures sort of pieces the bits together to figure out what's going on. So most of the movie is just, I mean, at least for most of the movie, the machine can't like move, so you wind up with the same scenes over and over again of person winds up too close to machine and gets caught in some sort of gear or mechanism, and then they scream. Someone tries to get them out, and usually they are unsuccessful in getting them out, and then it kills them. And then Robert England hobbles around and makes angry noises, or complains about things for a couple minutes, and then it moves on to the next scene. Uh, that's really, honestly, this is pretty watchable as far as bad movies go. There are like problems with it throughout, but the repetitive nature of this story of having the machine that can't move until the end. Uh, let's just get to it then. The ending of this is just baffling. Like, I don't think they had the budget to actually like do the amount of computer generated shenanigans they would need to have what happens actually happen on screen. You can tell they're trying to shoot creatively to get around the fact that the laundry folding machine has come alive and is now walking around. You do see bits like shots of its arms made out of gears and stuff, reaching and tearing people in half and stuff. Um, yeah, it's not. If they had, I can't say that this could have been a good movie because it is just such a bizarre premise. It was really selling itself on the fact that it's based on a Stephen King movie. It had Robert Englund from the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It didn't really sell Ted Levine. He wasn't, still not that big of a name. But it also was directed by Tobe Hooper, who Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then a bunch of other crap. Yeah, it's just not. It's not very good. There's a bunch of little side plots and stuff about, Robert Englund's character does have the niece and the daughter who sort of have a thing between them. The niece character is initially sort of the pure person who bleeds on the machine initially to turn it into an evil force, but apparently a contract was already signed with the machine by Robert Englund. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But in any case, by the end of the movie, the ending after this whole, it comes to life. It comes to life and attacks them, and then they fall down a manhole, and then it tries to go after them, and something falls off, and then it dies, I guess. Yeah, it didn't make any sense. They couldn't figure out a way to kill it on screen, so it just sort of stops. But when Ted Levine's character goes back to the place, it's all ruined because the innocent girl has taken over Robert Englund's position and is being really mean and snarky about things, which means she's possessed or something. I don't know. She did lose a finger at some point, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of lost limbs and stuff going on in this, but mostly just crushings. Yeah, it's hard to recommend this. I feel like it's between a bad movie that's boring to watch and a good bad movie with like bits that are great. The really bad special effects are really notable and hilarious when they show up. Like the origin story scene of a demonic icebox somehow crashes into the laundry machine and then transfers the evil bits but it doesn't, because it stays evil because it's still evil later. In any case, somehow there is an exchange of evils between the icebox and the laundry machine. And the laundry machine is then evil, but I think it was already evil because Robert Englund signed that contract thing with it. Whatever. He just mentions that. It's never shown on screen, so maybe I'm confused there. So yeah, any special effects scene, any Robert Englund scene where he's just hamming it up, he's the best part of the movie. And the finale with the machine sort of coming to life and chasing them all down. This overall, I mean, it's not a good movie at all, but I think it was too high of aspirations with the limitations of money and technology at the time. Because if you could do this where, the Mangler actually turns into this, evil transformer robot, that might actually be just hammy enough to make this okay and give a good finale to it. But as it stands, I loosely recommend checking it out. If you just happen to run into it, it's not really easy to find. It took me a long time to find this movie, just hanging out there. But I don't regret watching it. It wasn't super hard to watch, but, it's just not super well crafted. It's not on the IMDb Bottom 100 anymore. I think justifiably there are way worse movies out there. But yeah, that's the Mangler for you. It's a delightful, bizarre thing, bad movie.
There's a little bit of me in that machine, and a little bit of it in me.
There was an accident today. The worst one I've ever seen.
Have you considered the possibility that the machine might be haunted?
That machine killed your daughter. We all have to make sacrifices.
Human sacrifices. A demon is a kind of electricity. Sometimes it gets out of control. People get hurt.
3 modern masters of horror have just created the ultimate machine for terror.